Hi there, this is Scott Nicholson, Syracuse University School of Information Studies, and welcome to session 22 of the Gaming and Libraries course, the final session. Hooray, you made it! You've made it to the end of quite the exploration, and so throughout this class, we've covered a lot of aspects of gaming and libraries. I've covered everything from chess to board games, card games, video games, big games. There's a whole wide world of gaming out there that you might want to consider for your library. And some of the things that you want to think about are making sure that you start with the mission of the library, that you develop goals for your gaming program that tie into the mission, that you select the archetypes for your gaming program based upon those goals, and you use the archetypes and the related information in order to select games that will help you meet your need, that you put those games together in a way that creates a great experience for the users, and then you assess to make sure you're doing a good job of what's been going on with the gaming. And you tie that assessment back into your goals, and you use that to make decisions about the future. And you treat gaming just as one more service. It's something else we do here in the library. Now, there are a few people I want to thank in making this class possible. The biggest one is Syracuse University. Hooray, Orange! They gave up quite a bit in allowing me to do this class because there are a number of you out there that probably would have paid tuition to take this class. But now that I've released it out there, well, there were a lot of folks who might have paid tuition that chose not to. Now, there are some students, hello students, that are actually taking this class, and they've been creating video content. So if you go back and you look at the lectures, you're going to see some video responses that have been created by students who are enrolled in the class. And the students are actually also going to be creating a plan for a gaming program, and that's going to be part of their big assignment for the class. Other folks I want to thank. The funding for a lot of the equipment that I used to do all of this was from the Kaufman Foundation. They have an initiative project, and the goal of the initiative project is to raise awareness of entrepreneurship and try and use entrepreneurship to improve your local communities. And so I look at gaming and libraries as an entrepreneurial program because it's going to allow you to spend a little bit of money to draw a lot of attention to everything else you've already spent in your library. And so I'd like to thank the Kaufman Foundation for funding this. I also want to thank the Verizon Foundation. The Verizon Foundation has given a lot of money to the American Library Association to help study gaming and literacy in libraries. And part of what they funded through this was a panel of experts to come together and talk about it. And a number of those experts are the people that you've seen in the guest slots in this class. So a big thanks to the Verizon Foundation and thinkfinity.org for their support in helping this to happen. And they also helped to fund the gaming toolkit that's out of ALA. The gaming toolkit has a lot of useful information that you can continue to use. I also want to thank the ALA. The American Library Association was actually a partner on this, and by sponsoring all the discussions in ALA Connect, it's been a great way to talk about stuff, and those discussions are going to live on. And before I get too far on that topic, I want to talk about how to keep up with this gaming space and how to keep up with what's going on. So there are a few resources. The first one is ALA Connect. And through ALA Connect, through this space that you've been in for the class, and there's another space. There is a group of the ALA, the Game and Gaming Members Initiative Group. And that particular group, which may turn into a task force down the road, is a place for members of the ALA to come together and talk. The discussion board for this class will continue to live on because I'm sure people will come across these videos well after the class ends, and so those discussion boards will continue to be active. The feeds for this class, the iTunes feed, the RSS feed, the email subscription link, this YouTube space, this will continue to be active. And I intend to continue to release some things, not one video a day, but I will release some videos down the road as interesting things happen with gaming and libraries. So don't delete these subscriptions because this is a way I'm going to be able to get in touch with you as interesting stuff is happening, like when I do my surveys and National Gaming Day and the Gaming and Learning Library Symposium. So when there's announcements about stuff that's happening in the field, you can bet I'm going to make a little video and stick it right here, and you'll get that in your RSS feed and your iTunes or whatever. So keep an eye out for that. You'll also be able to read more. There's a lot of books that are coming out on the topic. We've talked a lot about Eli's book, Gamers in the Library, and we talked a little bit about the Gaming and Academic Libraries book put out by ACRL. But there's some books coming out. The best way to stay in touch and learn about those books are going to be to watch the message that's affiliated with this particular video, because I'll update that with books as I find out about them. I've got my own book, yet one more plug, hooray, for my book that I'm working on now. I hope to have it out, it should come out sometime in 2010 by Information Today, called Everyone Plays at the Library. And that's going to take, if you think about this whole session, this whole class as an extended coming attraction for the book, you're going to be getting what you've seen here and a lot more detail in the various topics I've covered. Another good resource is the LibGaming listserv, and that's been a discussion group. It's currently on Google Groups. They've been talking about moving it to ALA Connect, but that's a discussion group for people engaged with gaming in libraries. I've talked about some resources along the way for learning more about games. Board Game Geek is a great place for learning about board games. You've got Metacritic as a place to turn to for reviews about video games. OneUp.com is a resource I use quite a bit to learn about video games. There's also Board Games with Scott, which I've talked about a few times, and I'm going to continue to do monthly updates there. Along the podcast lines, there's a number of board game podcasts, and this is a link actually to a lot of the podcasts that are out there on board games. There's also video gaming podcasts as well, and you'll see a link to that in the show notes. There's some video gaming podcasts that you might want to take a look at. I do the Gaming in Libraries podcast. That comes out once a month, and I've drawn together a lot of the people that you've seen here as guests who talk about what they're doing with gaming in libraries, and that's going to continue to live on. You can get to that at gamesandlibraries.org, so a part of the URL you use to get to this class. So those are a lot of resources that you could use to continue staying in touch with what's going on in gaming and libraries. In 2010, there'll be the Gaming, Learning, and Library Symposium. That's a great event. I'm sure I'll be there. I've enjoyed it in the past, and I would suggest you consider it if you want to come and talk about what you're doing. We'll continue to meet at ALA to talk about gaming and libraries. Every Friday, the Friday night of ALA Annual, we have been doing an open gaming night, and I expect that will continue, and so take a look for that if you're going to be coming to ALA. I'll be there running board games, and you can see how I run games there at ALA Annual. So before I let you go, the last thing I'm going to request is that you fill out an assessment for me, because I want to assess if this course made a difference in your life. I'd like to know who you are. I'd like to know what brought you here. What are the things that you learned and really appreciated? What are things that you didn't learn? What would you like to see in future small videos that I release? If I were to do another course, what would you like to see? So you're going to find some of these questions on this survey here, and I would really appreciate it if you would take the time to fill this out. This is important because this is how I'm going to justify to my funders that this was a project worth funding. So this is really important to me. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, I need to have some data about the difference that this class made in your life. And so hopefully you'll be able to take this stuff, do some gaming in your library, and have some fun. Hopefully I'll see some of you at ALA and the Friday Night Open Gaming event, or I'll see you via the podcast. You can listen to me there and write feedback. You can send me an email at scott@scottnicholson.com if you want to chat about what's going on. So that's about it. I think I've wrapped up what I needed to wrap up, and I'd like to thank you all for spending the time with me. This has been an interesting experience. I've certainly learned a lot, and I hope you have as well. So until the next video, bye-bye.